You won't believe this workplace law. Let's have a look. Hello everyone, Florian.Heise here, and welcome to another episode of HeiseSays. Now, we have to have a look at this letter someone sent in to the sisters that answer all these legal questions. This is to do with a workplace issue that just shocked me. You won't believe it. If this is normal, if people expect this, Australia's screwed. We're screwed. We've got no chance. This is why manufacturing doesn't exist in Australia. This sense of just entitlement and being a spoiled little brat. Yeah, it's unbelievable. I can't relate to this stuff. Now, through my background, I'm a first-generation Australian. I was brought up by European immigrants. So that it's a different culture. It's coming over here and building up from absolutely nothing. My father had his own business. My mother had his own business. I've got my own business. At one point, we had between 6 employees. At one point, we got even higher than that. It got I think 11 when you counted all the flexible part-timers we had. That was quite a mistake, actually. We realized we needed help on projects, so we'd get a few people in for just a few days a week here, and here, and you just lose all continuity. It was essentially a waste of time in many regards, and we had to learn that lesson. So, and a lot of the people we would give jobs to would be their first job, which would be great because, 6 months to a year, you get them really good. They're working, they're flowing, and someone comes in and poaches them. So you're happy for them as you're seeing their career progressing, but you're investing a lot of time and money into people. So I can understand why firms don't want to deal with all that hassle. I still remember the time when, staff were going on holiday. Some of the boys were going on a vacation. And, we were doing the payroll, and they were actually earning holiday time while they were on holiday. And I couldn't believe that. I said, no, that's utter bullshit. You don't get holiday, you don't accrue holiday hours while you're on holiday. That'll just be a never-ending loop. So I rang up the accountant, and they said, no, they do. So the boys were there, I can't wait to accrue my holiday time when I'm on holiday, as they're putting in their leave applications. So yeah, a little life lesson I learned there, but this is even worse than that, and it's to do with holidays. So let's look at this. So, man upset at work, ruling out any fun. Okay, I don't know if it's framed in such a way, how to manage employers forcing annual leave. Now, we've had situations where work just gets quiet in different times of the year. And if you've got your staff with a huge bank of annual leave, tell them, take the holiday. We need you to take the holidays. Or there are firms that don't want people to bank up huge amounts of annual leave because then you've got this big debt. And here's the thing, you may not get it paid. If the firm you're working for owes you, 20, 30 weeks of annual leave or some stupid number because you never take it, they may not pay it to you if they go under. Okay, you may lose out. Same thing with super. I know I had colleagues at university. They'd lost their jobs and they hadn't been paid super for 4 years. This is why I encourage my staff to get a fund where they can actually see regularly the money coming in. For 2 reasons. One, because I wanted them to appreciate the fact I was paying the bloody money for that, which they didn't care about. They were too young. But 2, to make sure you get paid so you can see it. Because it happens, guys. It's not as much of an issue anymore now. They've made more changes. The government's managing payrolls now for you more and more, but still. So let's have a look at this. The Queenslander said that companies are using any excuse to stop staff having fun, claiming workplace has done something dodgy with his annual leave. We'll see this. So let's look at the question. I was recently forced by my employer to take 3 weeks of annual leave. As I said, I'd accrued too much. I wasn't very happy about it, but felt I had no choice. Or you get him to pay it out and keep working if you want. Why not? This is the thing. All annual leave is, it's just money set aside to pay for you to have time off. That's what it is. But here we go. But then when I was on leave, I got COVID and ended up sick in bed for over 10 days. So he was on leave and got sick. On leave. When I got back to work, I asked if I could add those days back to my leave. They said no. Surely if I was sick, I don't have to count them as my precious annual leave. Now, If you're on holiday and you get sick, it's your responsibility. You don't ring up your boss to come and bring you chicken soup and take care of you. Am I completely in the wrong here, guys? Am I so far removed to think that even asking this question just screams entitlement? Let me know. Let me know in the comments. Maybe, I mean, here's the thing. My experience has been running a small business myself for so long now. I haven't been an employee for ages. And last time I worked for someone else was for the Department of Public Works. I was part of the Architectural Practice Academy, and that was a weird experience. So many perks. Going from, because I was in the private sector all through uni. At QUT, you'd work 4 days a week in an office when you're studying architecture, and you'd have 1 day at university. So I came into the practice academy with years of experience in the private sector. So I wasn't used to this public sector. And wow, it's a different world, guys. Okay, don't think someone who's worked in the public sector their whole life has any understanding of working in the private sector. They are really, really mollycoddled in a lot of ways. Treated like with cotton gloves and all this bullshit, such soft pampering. Anyway, so he wants his sick leave. He wants the days he was sick on holiday back as sick leave. Now, my reaction to this instantly was, this is utter bullshit. You get sick on holiday, you deal with it like a man, okay? But no. I forgot what country I'm living in. I'm not living in the hard, rugged Australia, where we conquered the nation and overcome a harsh climate and deadly land, a sunburnt country. I'm living in socialist Australia, where the government will wipe your ass if anything gets wrong. So the short answer to whether your annual leave can be converted to sick leave is yes. Okay, yes. Okay? I mean, this is why, it's this type of bullshit is why businesses want to, outsource people. They want to get rid of staff. They want to have them as contractors. They want to automate. They want to go casual, because this is a level of uncertainty. You think, fantastic, Yas is sick, or Yas has worked up too much holiday time. We've got this huge debt hanging over our shoulders. We need him to burn through some of it. So take some time off. And it's probably good for your mental health too. If you don't take holidays, guys, you're going to burn out. And then your overall productivity decreases. There's a reason why you're meant to take holidays. But now they want to change it, to use their sick leave. Before agreeing to this, your employer is entitled to ask for evidence that you were sick, such as a medical certificate from your doctor or a screenshot of your PCR test results. The lawyer also says that you're required to provide notice of taking sick leave as soon as practicable. It doesn't matter that you were already booked and started your annual leave before you became sick. You are still able to ask your employer to convert your annual leave to sick leave, respectively. Wow. Now, this is Australia, guys. This is Australia. Now, let me know if I'm just so far removed from the expectations of a worker. And that could be true. I mean, you've got to understand. I remember when my father was, because he'd come to the office and help out with things, and we'd be discussing, work in titles and employment and stuff like this. He would be shocked, because he had a whole bunch of staff in the 80s. And back then, if work got quiet in the drafting office, he'd hand the draftees a shovel and say, go dig foundations. Or you're not working. I don't know if you could do that now. Maybe the precious princesses wouldn't want to do that. I mean, would I do it? Well, I'm doing it on my own house, wouldn't I? You get paid, you get paid. As your employer is refusing to swap your leave, you should speak to your trade union, if you're a member, or the Fair Work Ombudsman. So, I mean, oh boy. If you're still not able to resolve the issue, you can check your award or agreement on their Fair Work Commission website and apply for help if the dispute resolution terms allow it. So, because this person was on holiday and got sick, this could become a complete and utter stuff up and screw around for the business. This just seems like a nightmare, dealing with all this bullshit for one person. And you think, everyone thinks, oh, we're in a free market, it's this capitalist society. Bullshit. We're in a completely regulated economy. This is why people can't find work in Australia, because there's such a pain in the ass to deal with. And word gets around. When someone is a bloody troublemaker, word gets around. Okay? And this is why. This is why when you see a resume with a huge gap, you think, oh shit, they're probably more trouble than they're worth. This is why when employers see someone on their Facebook full of all let's just say, signs of ideology that would tend towards being a troublemaker or a pain in the ass to deal with, they may not get employed. Oh wait, is that politically incorrect? It's probably reality, everyone. I mean, who the hell doesn't realize that? If someone's got a whole bunch of BLM protest signs and Antifa and communist garbage all over their social media, you want that in your culture? It'll cause damage. So you should always be aware of your rights if your employer forces you to take annual leave again in the future. The usual position regarding annual leave is that it should be taken by agreement between the employer and the employee. An employer cannot force you to take your annual leave. There is, however, some exceptions to the general rule that you should be aware of, as they may apply to your employment. It is not clear what type of industry agreement you're employed under, whether your employer has qualified for JobKeeper payments, or how much annual leave you've accrued. All of these things impact what your employer is lawfully allowed to do when it comes to directing you to take annual leave. Yeah, some people get insane amounts of annual leave. And this is, from a business's perspective, this is another debt you've got hanging there that you need to pay. You need to get rid of it. What if the business is in trouble? What if cash flow is terrible? What if no work is coming in? We'd have periods where January and December, it'd be completely dead in the construction sector, depending on what sector we were working on. So we'd ask people to take extra leave then, to burn through it all then. They didn't mind. They got a long holiday on the holiday period, and we got to burn through that money. But if you don't, and then you're suddenly shutting down, or you need to let people go, you got that huge anchor of extra money there. And that becomes a problem. We're seeing all these construction companies going over. Luckily, ProBuild had enough cash set aside. They could project forward enough cash set aside to pay all of these costs. But some of the smaller builders, they may not. So if your employment is covered by an award or an agreement, you should review the documents. Yeah, how many people actually do? So this is just general legal advice. So let's talk about this, guys. So to me, this seems like utter bullshit. It really does. It screams of entitlement. But then again, this is why Rachel handled all of the HR stuff. I just put it over to her, and I didn't look at it because it would make me too bloody angry. Now, that could just be because of my upbringing. It could be because I'm a male. It could be because I'm a small business owner, and I believe in individual responsibility. And this just, well, it rubs me the wrong way. But what do you think, guys? Am I just becoming an old grumpy boomer that should go back to the 80s, back when things were different and was better in the days? And we need these type of employees they've earned these privileges by being born at a particular time and just getting them and thinking they're entitled to it for no reason, and then wondering why jobs are sent offshore, companies automate, and people do everything they can to not hire people. They wonder why the government hires contractors upon contractors upon contractors at inflated costs, because it's so hard to get rid of staff. You can't fire them with these union contracts. You look at Toyota, why they went on it. Look at I went through the employee contract there. So complicated. So much bullshit. Can you blame it? If you want higher employment here in Australia, if you want manufacturing here in Australia, what you really have to do is make it easier to hire and fire people, make it simpler for people to start businesses, and get rid of as much of the red and green tape as you can. Because why would anyone bloody bother dealing with this bullshit when you just chuck it into a house and bam, you're up 40% in a year, guys. And don't worry, the government's got your back. They got your back. And then you turn it into courses and sell it on Facebook. And shit, yeah, money's coming in. I'm only half joking. We've just had 40% bump in property here in Brisbane. Wait for 5 years when you start seeing all the Brisbane gurus appear. Oh yeah, I really struggled working at Macca's, converting my sick leave, my holiday time over to sick leave to maximize my return, and then I use that to buy my house while living at my parents' place and yada yada yada. Buy my course now. I'm becoming too cynical for this shit, guys. I'm getting too old. You tell me. Am I just becoming an old fuddy-duddy? Anyway. Oh, boy. Take care, guys. I'll see you all in the next episode of HeiseSays. Bye for now. Maybe I'm just old. That has to be it. I'm getting old. Sick. Holiday. You're on holiday. Maybe I can retroactively go back to all the time I got sick on holiday. Oh, wait.